good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I would like to introduce most to an idea of manifestation in a way where you probably have heard about manifestation, but it takes a little time to really understand what it means to manifest a thing. We spend a lot of time as individuals chasing after people who, yes, man, a lot of our ideas, a lot of our, how do you say, a lot of our inventions, a lot of the things that we want to really pursue in life. Let's just say that. And we don't really quite understand that that could be a wall for our own minds. A lot of us want people who would agree with us rather than disagree with us. And when someone usually disagrees with you, you call that an argument. But instead of looking at it as an argument, I would rather you start to look at it as an opportunity. An opportunity for someone who actually will challenge your mind, because we tend to go to people who, once again, will say yes to us, but they're not really challenging the ideas that you're bringing forth, which will bring about your vision. And to be honest with you, we make friends with people who love misery, and misery loves company. A lot of their problems we don't have any involvement in, but yet we become involved when we begin to share our issues with these people. And they use that broken insight to justify what it means to move forward. And a lot of them are stagnated. Truth be told, I'm making this message out to a lot of people who, you may be a millionaire, you may be a billionaire, you may be a trillionaire, you might just be a hundredaire. And you might just have $1 in your pocket. But you surround yourself with people that you feel like if you changed your environment a little bit, you might be able to step a step forward past where you are right now. And truth is, we all have that ability to do so. A lot of the problems that we're dealing with in this world, we don't necessarily have to deal with. We choose to deal with. And once again, it's because of that justification syndrome that a lot of us tend to take on, because we don't want someone to tell us that we're wrong. No one wants to be wrong. No one wants to be the one in the hot seat, realizing that a lot of their ideas are possible, but it's the way that you approach. It's the people that you use. It's the justifications that you use to approach it. Psychologically, if a man approaches a situation with stress on his mind, or a man, or woman approaches such a situation with anger on their mind, it won't get far. Why? Because you're using the wrong ingredients to approach the situation in the first place. You cannot approach a situation using negative ingredients. If you want to succeed forth, you're going to have to clear your mind of all those things. You're going to have to battle those things. Not to say that you're going to spend more time. Well, to take that back, most of your time you're going to spend on battling the things that you find yourself thinking. Meaning there are a lot of tripwires in your own mind. Most of us want people who are going to immediately agree with us. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. But what does it take? How much money will it take? How much support will it take? Yeah, they support you, but is that all it is? If that was the case, then they could drop $1 million in your pocket and you wouldn't have to worry about these problems. Truth be told, you're going to have to sit back a little bit more and deal with people who are outside of the box in order to see yourself, in order to see your vision a little bit different. We all come from communities and circles of people who support us because we support their misery. I know that's strong, but it's the truth. We support their misery. They support our misery. You ever had someone in your life, you bring them a problem and they tell you, oh man, I've been through that, man. Oh yeah, sis, I've been through that. You should approach the situation like this. And instead of you actually looking into yourself as being a specific being who have been brought into this world with a solution, you are a solution, you are the solution. Instead of applying the actual knowledge within you that you've been given, you take that idea and that idea becomes stagnated. You become stagnated. Your work becomes stagnated. Information is key in this life. If you don't know which way to go, admit it. Step outside of your circle when you hear the conversation goes into a direction where they don't know. You're not going to be able to go forth with people who don't know. You're going to have to step back for a second and realize that it takes for you to step outside of your box of comfortability for you to be able to see beyond your string of ideas, your string of thoughts. Yeah, you have a grand idea, but once again, what is the amount that it's going to take to manifest this? A lot of us have great ideas. A lot of us don't know. We build LLCs, we build EIN numbers, we get all of these things, but we don't know how to move forward. Because even when you have that and you're still stagnated in your same environment, you can't move forward with that. It's when you decide to step outside of your box, outside of that source of patting you on the back when you're wrong or when you're right. Sometimes you're going to have to be willing to be wrong in order to get right. That's the true fact about life. You're going to have to be willing sometimes to be wrong in order to be right. Because if you don't have anyone to criticize you, then you're going to continue to pursue people who, yes, man, you, yes, woman, you, every single day. And where are you now? In a place where you want to find these resources that are available. And yeah, there is a lot stacked up against you, but we're playing chess, not checkers. You are able to defeat these obstacles or people who are coming up against you. But if you are unfocused because you're using these blockages for your ego and for your pride, you can't fight the bigger fight. These people have stacked up a world that they know that you love the trends of this world. You follow the trends, you share the trends. Look at Facebook. People share posts from post to post to post to post. But have you ever thought about the ending result of sharing a post that keeps you emotional? I was taught to rise above the emotion into the thinking of God. You're going to have to step outside of your circle. Outside of, and sometimes if you're just by yourself, sometimes you're the problem, and you're going to have to realize that, and you're going to have to allow someone to criticize you for a second beyond your personal criticizing of self, because we all have that self-accusing spirit. But when you tuck that self-accusing spirit so that you can be able to, hide the failures or the resistance that you put up against the idea that you want to manifest. A lot of the times, you're the reason why you lose. Most of the time, you're the reason why you lose. Majority of the time, you're the reason why you lose. It's because you don't really see what it means to succeed. You're not taking advice from the people who have already succeeded in the idea that you want to go forth with. You're still listening to the people in the projects. A lot of my friends grew up in the hood, if that's what you want to call it. Grew up in the projects, the PJs. And they don't move forward because sometimes you're being joked about, or sometimes you say to your friends, oh man, I have an idea. I want to start a corporation. And then we all come together and yada, 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 yada. And then your friend sits back and tell you to your face, oh man, that's not possible, man. Look where we at. Look at our environment. A man can look at a building burnt down and see that if you restore the ground, you can build a garden. If you restore the ground, you can build a house. a business right there in your own neighborhood. But what are you really paying attention to is the key point. A lot of us pay attention to the dissatisfaction. Look around, find people who will criticize you. And criticizing is not something that's going to always be seemingly positive. And I say seemingly because a lot of us get criticism and we think that it's supposed to align with the way that we feel. Criticism is supposed to bring you from one stage to the next. If that's not happening, then someone's just breaking you down. Be mindful, step forward, move into the path that's designed for you. Start to ask questions beyond the circles that you put yourself in order to hide from the manifestation that you are brought into this world to bring about. Peace and blessings.